Hey y'all, it's Michelle Pippin with WomenWhoWow.com and BeMichellePippin.com. If you are a seriously driven women entrepreneur, your tribe is waiting for you over at WomenWhoWow.com. We are the place where women entrepreneurs go to create wild success on their own terms. And so if that seems like what you're about, I want you to join us because we are having an amazing time. And the Women Who Wow membership is for high drive women, and it is a high touch membership. We are intimate, we are loyal, we are cheering each other on, and we are just breaking barriers in each of our industries, making names for ourselves. And if you want to be part of that, I invite you to come and be part of that. I want to talk with you guys today about maybe the fact that business owners are kind of becoming a little bit too smart for their own good, right? And so there's some phrase I remember hearing in church growing up, and it was something like too heavenly something to be any earthly good. I forget what it was, like too heavenly minded to be any earthly good. And so I thought of that today, actually, when I was running. I was thinking about how America, with just like diet stuff, like, you know, how we are one of the fattest nations in the world, and I have had my role in that for sure, but we're one of the fattest nations in the world. And I think about all of the marketing and research and all this stuff that's gone into like the obesity epidemic, right? And for a while we had all of this stuff going on, like research and programs and businesses and industries created to like support the low fat fad, right? If you remember that, I remember that, when low fat was good, and it was something where we had basically, like, we started as a nation, we started consuming fake foods, and like margarine became actually literally listed as a health food. Or even fast forward a few years, and we had like the fat-free fad. After that, we had like the no sugar fad, and so what happened was, you know, all of these things that were laden with chemicals, and nobody really knew what was in them, and now they've been proven to cause cancer and all this stuff. They were in the health food section, right? Like, I'm not teaching weight loss, obviously, but it's like these people were teaching weight loss, and we as a nation were like eating it up, right? It was like eating it up. We just bought it hook, line, and sinker, and what was popular we listened to. And then and so I'm thinking about this as I'm running, and I'm like, gosh, you know, all of this like new stuff that we immediately bought into, right? Immediately, like, oh, it's new, it's good, like it's low fat, it's this, and we jumped in on it. However, the nations that are, you know, like the French, right? Like eat their like rich foods and real butter and all these things that I have learned to love, and whole foods, like they didn't have the obesity epidemic because they kept it simple. So today I saw a post from the author, who happens to be now a Facebook friend of mine, which totally humbles me, but like the author of the first business book I ever read. It's actually this book right here, okay? And you can see like the pages are yellowed, and it has a lot of like notes in it, and the let's see, back here are like a bunch of like numbers where I was kind of plotting out like, okay, if I sold this much at this whatever, I have the, you know, some notes here, and you can see like the cover is all frayed. But my point is that she posted this this post on Facebook today, and this book 24 years ago today, she was waiting for the first print edition, and she said, you know, when in the first edition 24 years ago, there weren't, you can't find any words like internet or social media, not even really email, not really email, just not even email. Certainly you didn't find words in this book like Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat or Instagram or any of that, right? Like there was none of that. And so I was thinking, and I posted something about this, but like, is this book outdated? Like, no, it is not outdated. I have it still. I use it still, and it's not outdated at all. And I don't have an updated copy, right? I don't have an updated copy. I have the original, and it is so. When I was running, and then I came back and saw her post, I'm like, you know what? Maybe we're getting too smart for our own good. We're complicating things, right? We're constantly thinking because it's new that it's better, or you know, we believe this research that comes out like immediately without thinking, like, did our grandparents do it this way, right? Imagine American health if we had just eaten the way like our grandparents or great grandparents did, right? Imagine that. What would health be like then? Instead, we jumped on every new fad. Instead, we started eating fake foods and thinking we were smart for doing it, right? And so with business too, you think about our great-grandparents, and they were self-employed. It wasn't hard. Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't hard, but they didn't think that it was like this big risky thing to go into business for themselves. Of course not. Everybody did it, right? It's how families survived. It's how we supported our families. Only recently did business become hard and complicated and risky, and, oh, you can't make money for 4 years. Well, who is managing your money, right? Like, I would like to talk with them, because I can't go 4 years without making money. And you know, we started to think about business as something that was just for the elite. We started thinking about business as, well, I can't afford to start my own business. Really? I started my own business for $50, right? For $50. My dad and my mom, who run a multi-million-dollar company now, they didn't invest any money. Like, my dad had a hammer and a nail bag that he used on the side, and he just started. And so my point is, we overcomplicate things, and whether it's health or money or business, it's like we just sometimes need to remember that the things that are true and the things that will always serve us are probably the most simple philosophies. And so definitely I have layered my business now with social media. I'm doing this via live stream on Facebook, obviously. I've layered my business with different new age kind of technologies. You know, when I first started in business, like, I remember when fax machine marketing was all the rage. No one really used an email. Like, very, very few people were using an email. So, like, I remember those days. And the same way I marketed then is the same way I market now, frankly, right? The core of it is all the same. Now, I do use different technologies and tools, but I'm not building my business on them, right? I mean, you think about, like, the let's say Periscope, right? Periscope Live, which is where people first started doing live streams like I'm doing here. And I was on Periscope, right? I didn't build a whole business around Periscope, and good daggone thing, right? Because I don't even know where Periscope is now. But my point is, we don't want to get too smart for our own good. Let's not ignore the simple stuff, the philosophies that always worked and frankly always have worked. Things like talking with people, people-to-people selling, not trying to find exactly the right words and polish it up before you go and tell somebody. I can help you with that, right? Like, think about back great-great-grandparents and how they did business before the Industrial Revolution. How did they do business, right? They did something, they got good at it, they offered it to their neighbors. They did business in a way that allowed them to look eye to eye and feel good about their work. They made promises and kept them. They stayed in conversation, right? Is this not exactly what builds success today? Anyway, so I guess my rant is a little bit over, but I did want to celebrate first business book ever read by Barbara Winter, Making a Living Without a Job, which is exactly, I had no idea I was going to go into business for myself. Like, that, I didn't know how to do that. And I didn't know anyone who had done that. So, like, that was not what I was trying to do. But it says, Winning Ways for Creating Work That You Love. And this book changed my life. And I don't know how many people have read this book, but the author is a friend of mine on Facebook, which just blows me away every time. She was such a celebrity to me when I first read that book. And I remember when I was reading it and what I was doing at the time and how much it inspired me, because she kept it simple. It didn't talk about all of this. She didn't go into like a whole bunch of branding ideas and marketing and what you have to have on your website or your back then on your brochure. She didn't do any of that. It was only it was just the simplicity of knowing what you want to do, what you're good at, inviting people to buy from you, right? Hey, Connie, and happy birthday, Connie. Happy birthday. I wanted to give you a shout out on Facebook, and here you are. It is Making a Living Without a Job, and it is by Barbara Winter. So it's an amazing, amazing book and super simple. And I love the quizzes in the book also. I hope they're in the new edition. But little things like where you get to check off things that would be cool for you. So as an example, here they are. So you know, income goals for the next 5 years, people who you trust to support you. So you kind of go through this, like 5 personality traits that you possess, tools that you already own to help you make money. It's like, these are all these things that help so much for me. And And like here it is here, like obstacles, you know, that you eliminate or manage. And and I wrote it down. It's so funny because this has been forever ago, and it still is. It's different now, but the challenge is still there. And I wrote guilt over kids, like, you know, not having time with the kids or not being what I want to be with the kids. And then the other quiz in here was really cool, and I have a little paper clip on there, but. Here it says, read through this checklist without thinking about it too much and select every item that appeals to you, right? About how to work, like what you want to do. And so it's so funny because here's what I marked down. Lets me work alone, right? Because I am a lone wolf for sure. Allows me to work from home. Is seasonal, is people driven. Allows me to use my expertise. Constantly teaches me new things. Is portable. Makes a difference in people's lives, comes from my personal values. These are things that I checked. I didn't read you the ones I didn't check. Is personally satisfying, makes me wealthy, lets me work at my peak times, which are in the mornings actually, serves the general population is one that I hit, although I didn't really, that's not what I do now. But anyway, makes me famous. I actually put a little check there, and it's funny because I put that check there and I didn't realize until I was with my mom on a trip, and it was actually at a Women Who Wow event, and I said something to her, and she said, I didn't know that you wanted to be famous, and I don't know that I knew it either, but I checked that mark. So draws on my education and skills, involves my family, seems natural for me, surprises my friends, enriches lives, including my own, makes me excited to get out of bed in the morning, combines many talents and skills I've acquired in a fresh way, leads to financial independence, is uniquely mine, and then I wrote one in that says makes other people's lives easier and less hectic. And anyway, so that was in this book. So that's what I came here to say today, and I don't want us to kind of get cute with business. I want us to keep it simple. I want us to know what we're here to do, know the problem that we are here to solve, and make lots of money doing it. I absolutely believe that our income should be a reflection of the value that we're bringing to the world. So thank you guys for joining me live. Happy birthday to Connie Hedrick. I'm excited to have you here, and I look forward to seeing more from you guys. So if you are not a member of Women Who Wow, the doors to Women Who Wow will open fairly soon, and you want to be in on that. So you can either go to bmichellepippin.com/Women Who Wow, or you can PM me on Facebook. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye.